Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another exciting meeting at Toastmasters for Hyderabad Entrepreneurs. Where do you get your energy or where do you get your inspiration is something that you need to check upon. And today, our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Manoj, has come here to tell us what and where an entrepreneur can get his or her inspiration. Let me invite this recent Toastmaster by dynamic and energetic Toastmaster Manoj, a Toastmaster of the day on the virtual lecture. Manoj, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, DTM Raghu, for that wonderful introduction of mine. I don't know how decent, how dynamic I am, but I'll try to be one. And yeah, inspiration. If you see in the current day, there are a lot of things happening across, and most of things are related to our inspiration, whichever we take. If you want to be successful, you need to have an inspiration. If you are a failure, there is an inspiration from which the inspiration which you can take from that failure. In that way, what are the inspirations? What are the areas from which an entrepreneur takes his inspiration, his or her inspiration, is what I'm going to talk today. Before going ahead, I just want to say one thing. One key area a lot of people don't think of an entrepreneur takes his inspiration is his team. An entrepreneur actually inspires his team to get the things done. But once his team is inspired, an entrepreneur takes 10x inspiration from the team. That's why if you see, whenever there is an inspired team, the output of entrepreneur is obviously more. So that inspiration is coming from the team. So we'll be talking about more aspects of entrepreneurship where inspiration is being grabbed from. But let's go into the meeting and let me introduce the meeting. So this is Toastmasters for Hyderabad Entrepreneurs 2.0. So this is a special club where we have a special feature in our club. So we'll have 2 prepared speeches followed by elevator pitch. And to gauge all these, I have my team, the tag team. So I take inspiration from my team today. So, and I want to introduce the team. So timer Kalpana. So timer Kalpana, would you please come in and give your roles and responsibilities?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Today's bad news is time flies. And the good news is I'm your pilot for timing. And whenever you are a speaker and you will reach your minimum time, then you will see the background turning into green. And when you see that you are about to reach your maximum time, you'll see the yellow card raised. And when you have reached the maximum time given for you and you have utilized the complete time, you'll see a red card flashing on my screen. So as timer, I will ensure that I am giving you these signals at your speeches. For the prepared speeches, 5 to 7 minutes are the time. And for the table topics, 1 to 2 minutes is the described time, and for the evaluations 2 to 3 minutes. I hope that you will be on time today, and I'll come back with my report on seeing who were on time and who missed the time at the end when Toastmaster of the Day calls. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Timer Kalpana, for that excellent start of regarding the timer. And our next role player comes the grammarian. So Raghu, sorry, who is taking the grammarian role? I think we'll not take that. Niyamat is not here. Okay, before Raghu answers, let us go with the next role. The accountant Suresh. Suresh, could you please introduce yourself and say about your role?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. So today I'm playing a counter role. My role is to track the unnecessary words or filler words used by the speaker during his speech. The filler words like I'll be counting out all those words used by the speaker during his speech, and I will be back with my counter report when TMoD calls back to the when TMoD calls back to me. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Tim.
Thank you, Suresh. And Anne-Marie, Toastmaster Anne-Marie, could you please do the honors for an grammarian role?
She said she's in transit, so
Okay.
cannot do it. Yeah.
Should we go ahead, Raghu?
I'm sorry, I'm in transit and there's a lot of background noise, so you'll have to forgive me this week. I might get cut out any moment,
Okay.
but I'm trying to listen as much as I can. Thanks.
Okay.
And,
I'll do one thing. I'll just be the word master for today and introduce the word inspiration. Where do you take your inspiration is something that you all need to talk about in your speeches or table topic speeches or whatever roles that you're taking today. Inspiration, the word of the day today.
Okay. So the word of the day being inspiration and our theme being entrepreneurs inspiration. Thank you, Raghu, for that word of the day. So as we move on, so what is the next place where an entrepreneur takes his or her inspiration? It's the opportunities. An entrepreneur definitely takes an opportunity as an inspiration. As soon as he or she looks into that opportunity, he quickly jumps into it, grabs the opportunity, and makes their own path to their success in the entrepreneurial journey. And there are other people where, though there is opportunity, they give hundreds of reasons for not accepting that opportunity, but that's not an entrepreneur. So the next part where entrepreneur has an ability to grab the inspiration or take the inspiration is the opportunity. And I invite our prepared speakers, today's entrepreneurs, where they grab the opportunity to have the speech, to give the speech and inspire us with their speeches. So let me start our prepared speeches session. So the first speech is given by Toastmaster Mary Thomas, and I invite the evaluator of the speaker, DTM Joy, to give out the details of the speaker and the speech.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So today I'm going to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Mary, and her speech is basically level 3 project, and the purpose of the speech is to connect with the audience. The speech will be for 5 to 7 minutes, and the speech title is Do You Want to Be an Entrepreneur? I just wish Mary best of luck for that. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Raghu, for the introduction of the speech and the speaker. And so our speaker, Mary Thomas. To say about Mary Thomas, she came from a family of entrepreneurs. She herself is an entrepreneur, a perfect fit for our club. And today she will have deliver her speech on, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Toastmaster Mary Thomas. Toastmaster Mary Thomas, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? That is a question that everybody asks because they want to get out of the rat race of the 9-to-5 job. Everyone thinks that being an entrepreneur, going into business, is one of the ways to escape the rat race. Unfortunately, that is far from the truth. Being an entrepreneur myself, sometimes I wish I could just go back to 9-to-5 work. Nothing to worry about. No rentals to pay, no salaries to bother about, no utility bills, no nothing. Just don't worry. Go to work and come back home. Relax and enjoy. Work-life balance. Today, we're going to talk about all of those people who have a dream about wanting to be an entrepreneur. Question is, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Let's take a look at a few facts of the case. I have spoken to people, I have spoken to a lot of people, and a question I always ask them is, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you understand what entails going into business? It's a nice fancy name. So everyone feels like it's very prestigious, it's very nice. What do you do? I'm a businesswoman. What do you do? I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. Sounds nice, isn't it? But let's take a look at what it actually entails. Okay, it's not moving, but I shall tell you what the 3 basics are to question yourself whether this is something you can do. You'll be surprised. My first point is genes, genetics, the genetic predisposition a person has as to whether they can be an entrepreneur and whether they can be successful at it. I know this sounds a little bit biased, but it is indeed true that if you have a genetic predisposition, the nature and the nurturing to become an entrepreneur, you're likely to be successful. Reason I'll tell you, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, right from the great. It's not just grandparents, it's the greats as well. They were all merchants. My roots are from Kerala. So they were all merchants at that time, both in my maternal side and my paternal side. My father came to Malaysia, and that is where I'm from, and he pioneered long-distance learning even before the word long distance was ever created. Back in 1960, he started the first long-distance learning school in Malaysia and Singapore. How did that happen? He was a lawyer and a politician in Kerala. How did he come and just come across out of the country and then start a long-distance learning college or school? That's because he had the genetic predisposition to start it. And we could watch that, and that was our nurturing. My mother, also from Kerala, is a very shrewd, calculative lady. Both of them together worked and built a very successful business. And we, the 3 of us, were watching that. And we learned from them how to collaborate, how to not collaborate, how to agree and not to disagree, how to disagree and agree. We were watching all of that, and we knew how this whole dynamics of entrepreneurship worked. As a result of which, I got into it myself. My brother is a finance director at Freddie Mac in the United States. He's a banker. My other brother is a CEO of a bank in New Zealand, and now he started up his own business. He's a consultant, a business consultant. Can you see how genetics played a role in that? Bear in mind or take into account your nurturing and the naturing. Point number 2, the ability to have resilience, to be resilient, to be able to withstand whatever comes your way. It is believed that 9 out of 10 startups fail. Why do they fail? Because of a lack of resilience, the strength to withstand whatever comes your way, the barriers, the obstacles, the difficulties, the setbacks, all of that. You should be able to withstand it and come above it. And not only resilience in character, resilience in your financial resources. You must have sufficient money so that if you lose some money, you still have money to survive. In other words, when you start a business, make sure you start with a capital that is equal to the amount you can afford to lose. You should be able to lose that money and still be able to survive and start back all over again. Point number 3, the willingness to work hard. Just take a look at the word entrepreneurship. Do you know a lot of people can't even pronounce it properly? That itself shows it's a difficult thing to do. Entrepreneur. When I first came out, I graduated from university, the word entrepreneur was not a big thing. We just said we are in business. But somewhere along the line, now we all use the word entrepreneur. And it's not something anyone can just pronounce. It's difficult to pronounce it. How about the word business? Break it up into 2. It says busyness. B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S. So you've got to work really hard and work smart. Sometimes I have started a business where I was like a solo game. You know, it's like a one-man show. I had to do that because that's the only way I could survive, because I had no staff, I had no one else. As I conclude this lengthy theme and a lengthy story of how to start a business, I'll recap the 3 points. 1, genetics. 2, resilience. 3, the willingness to work hard and work smart. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Raghu, can you stop the share?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Mary Thomas. And we can see an entrepreneur in you, and the zeal with which you are saying about entrepreneurship is very much clear, like how deep you are into your busyness of your business and you being an entrepreneur. Hope I'm pronouncing it correct. So let's go with our next speech by Mr. Rohan Matthew. So before I introduce the speaker, I want to introduce the evaluator of the speech. Just a second. Yeah. Toastmaster Abdul Rahman. So Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, what do you?
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. My target speaker, Toastmaster Rohan Matthew, is attempting his icebreaker speech in his second path, Dynamic Leadership. The speech title is The Challenge Starts Now. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. The timing is 4 to 6 minutes. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, regarding this, for giving the speech details. And I personally, when I've seen yesterday's roster, I've seen Rohan Matthew, he's giving his icebreaker. And I thought Rohan Matthew is new to Toastmasters, as I am. I've just joined in October. But seeing that he is starting his new path and giving his icebreaker, that's where entrepreneurship is. They never lose an opportunity to grow. And Rohan Matthew, he is a current VP in Thang Chung Toastmasters, a member of Wei Fung HSBC Toastmasters and Founders Toastmasters, all in Hong Kong. And he's an IT consultant at HSBC. So Rohan, it's all to you. And sorry, I did not get your speech title. My bad. I have it
It's
here.
season 2. The challenge starts now.
Yeah. The challenge starts now. Rohan Matthew, Toastmaster Rohan Matthew, the challenge starts now. Over to you.
Good evening, fellow esteemed Toastmasters. Now, while I may not be an entrepreneur officially, one thing I do know of entrepreneurs is that they're willing to grab any opportunity. So when the opportunity came on the WhatsApp group to take a free speech role, I decided to take it and grab it by the horns. Now, when I did my presentation mastery, reflect on your speech, my speech title back then was Season 1, the pilots. After all, I actually could think of my Toastmaster journey as like a TV show. In the first season, it was quite a very bland first half. I just joined Toastmasters when I joined Toastmasters back in 2021. For at least the first year or so, I just had a few roles here and there, being an art counter, maybe a grammarian, or even a timer. But I never really did much back then. It was only when I started becoming a VPE that was the start of the second half of season 1. And boy, oh boy, did it become very exciting. I just took on speeches whenever possible, being able to do my presentation mastery speech in just 5 months. And from then, I grew from a weak and timid Toastmaster to a one who's confident and who can stand on top of the mountains, being able to face any challenge. But now that season 1 has been finished, it is time to start season 2. And season 2 is where the real challenge starts. Back in Tung Chung Toastmasters, when I started, there were a huge number of attendees joining Toastmasters. We had a full XCOM, and no thanks, in fact, to the pandemic. With the pandemic keeping us all in, we all really had nothing much to do, and Toastmasters was the only way to move on forward. However, now that in Hong Kong, everything is starting to return back to normal, they all have scattered away. To make matters worse, most of our XCOM right now, they've all dropped off the radar. And so it's just me and the president having to take over multiple roles, combining that with an audience that's just decreasing with every moment. Now everything's just going pear-shaped. And you may think to myself, and I think to myself, you know what? Why don't I just leave Toastmasters now? I don't want to do this anymore. There's no point in me just hosting meetings if everyone's just not going to attend. But you know what? There's a video which I was recommended to, and said the word good. Good. That's all it said. Lost your job? Good. People not coming to Toastmasters? Good. You're having to pick up the slack? Good. Because every time there's something negative, be it whether no one's attending Toastmasters, good. It's an opportunity for me to relish this challenge. And so now, being with my future prospects to actually become a DTM, being a DTM by next year, or even the president of this club, I am actually relishing this opportunity to actually try and see how we can actually bring our club back to life, especially when a few of our XCOM members are missing. And to that requires many things, including being a leader and being willing to take the challenge. Because back then, I actually didn't like being a leader, mainly for the one reason: failing. When you're a leader and when things fail, it's all on you. And then you just feel down and just in the dumps. And that's why I hate it. So that's why I never decided to just take on major roles, because I just want to stay in the back. But now, as I start my new pathway into being a dynamic leader, being a dynamic leadership, I don't have the opportunity to just hide behind the wall. I must now take everything by the reins and push on forward so then I can bring my club back to life. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohan. And that's indeed an inspiring speech by you to take up the challenges whichever we have. So let's go to our next session, next part of this meeting, the most interesting part, the special part of our club, the elevator pitch. So let me introduce Raghu, who is giving his elevator pitch today, on the topic, invest in the history. Raghu, it's all yours.
Did you ever look at the change in your drawer? Or did you look at the coins that were in the litter box of your grandfather, grandparent, or maybe anything that is coming in generation to you, but you are just ignoring it, keeping it aside, and never look back? Well, my dear friends, if what I'm going to today talk about is how we can invest in our history and still make money as an entrepreneur. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Toastmaster Mary. It all started in 1999 when I went to a fair in Hyderabad. In the fair, I asked for a coin, and then the seller told it was 5,000 Indian rupees. And at that point of time, the dollar, it was around, I believe, 30 rupees or something. And in agriculture, and I felt it was huge money to pay for a coin to collect something. And I wondered if people actually bought something. And guess what? That coin now it is literally 55 lakhs Indian rupees, which is almost more than 100 times what I would have bought if I have bought it that point of time. Today, I'm going to talk about myself first and then talk about what you can do as part of this program. I am a numismatist, a professional numismatist known across India and world. And I not only collect, I also help people to invest in numismatic as an alternative investment. This has helped many people, and I have today customer across the world. Of course, I advise people outside India, but I only cater to the needs of the customers in India. I am almost dealing from 2005 and has helped many people. Also was holding an auction house, but due to the timing, that time crunch that I had, I didn't continue with the auction house. I'm dealing in individually. Now, to even dwelling in what I do, let me talk about some interesting coin sales that has happened across the world. This $1 of United States was sold for $10 billion. That 3,50,000 for this gold mohor of Jahangir. And I'm talking about this sale some years back, not today. The Sitaram rupee of Akbar was sold for $245,000, and our $135,000 for Noor Jahan gold mohar. And guess what? It continues, and there's no limit to how many coins and what rate has been sold. I can take lengthy lot of time. It's not about it. Talking about numismatic as a hobby is king of hobbies. There are people across the world who are investing, who are dealing in daily basis. What it needs is history and basic education of what it requires to do that. Mostly intrinsic and extrinsic value. Means the value of a coin is not depending on the metal value. Sometimes it's some millions of times more than that. Main aspect of value is authenticity, whether it is authentic coin or not. Second is source of pedigree, like this way that we talked about how entrepreneurship has come from the generation, the same way who was collecting it back then and who he did buy from. If a coin has that pedigree or the history, it has more value. Third thing is rarity or index and availability in the market also appeals to that. And the metal and appearance of the coin matters. When it comes to authenticity is not real, I'm experienced and I can help you with checking authenticity and also get you good deals on things. It's a flourishing business. Indian coins have a long way to go, while any other coin across the world has almost reached their limits. Indian coins are yet to reach that million money. And when it has long way to go, it is safe and wise when you invest because you hold those coins physically with you and you may yield good returns. What and how you do it. The exit theme is you need to pick up a theme, what you want to collect, ancient, medieval, or modern. You need to sell it right time. Follow a sober theme. And 5 to 10 years is a locking period like and you do in mutual funds. And there's no free mail. You cannot just expect that you buy something and then you are just making a lot of money instantly. But there might be some chances, but not always. I'm here to help you invest in this coinage, invest in the history of India, invest in our history so that your generations to come will remember you for the history that you're holding. When you hold that metal piece from centuries back, or rather at least 3,000, 4,000 years back, and how do you feel about it? Not just that, it is also making money when it's there. And I'm here as an experienced numismatist and also one of the most reliable person who is known across India and also outside. Thank you.
That's an excellent pitch in the given time, Raghu, and you made us think that we need to be a numismatic with your beautiful pitch. And seems like numismatists who are there have already decoded the inner element of a Bitcoin long back. It's like a Bitcoin which is in our hand, which raises its value with the rarity. So, and thank you, Timer, for having a check on the time. It's my bad. I missed to give the time limit of 3 to 5 minutes for the pitch. Thank you for taking on it. So before we go to our next topic of our presentation or of our meeting, so let us see the other inspirational aspects where an entrepreneur grabs from. The entrepreneur, as what Rohan already said, grabs the inspiration when there are some failures. Thomas Alva Edison, many of you heard, and most of you heard, he said 1,000 times he failed making the bulb in the right way. And the only thing he said is he understood 1,000 different ways how not to make a bulb, but not 1,000 failures. That's what the inspiration, what entrepreneurs take. And one other thing, what the place where entrepreneurs take the inspiration is problems. Whenever there is a problem, I recently heard a person saying he's a well-known entrepreneur. At the age of 17, he cracked the code and he was able to earn 1 crore Indian rupees at the age of 17. He said, if there is a problem, don't try to sit inside the problem and see. come outside the problem and think what you can do to resolve the problem. So that is where an entrepreneur also takes an inspiration from the problems they actually face. And in our daily life, be it with our regular people chat, be it with someone to start a chat or start a conversation with others, or to speak to our colleagues or speak to our managers, we fail a lot. We face a lot of problems and we generally fail. And that is where Toastmasters is helping us to be ready with the table topics. So I introduce the table topic master of the day, DTM Raghu. So DTM Raghu, over to you.
Point of order, Toastmaster. Today, Catherine will be the table topic master.
Oh, sorry. I think it's written over there as DTM Raghu, right? I think it's changed. Sorry,
No
Catherine.
problem.
My
Okay.
bad. I copied that and I've read from that.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me clearly? Table
Yes, loud and
topics.
clear. Yes,
Thank
loud
you.
and clear.
Toastmasters and guests, table topics are an opportunity for us to speak off the cuff or to speak without being prepared. I will ask a question and give you at least 1 to 2 minutes to respond to the question or to the statement. And I'll start with a Toastmaster. If there are any guests, please be willing to, I'm going to volunteer anyone to answer any of these questions. Let me start with our guest, Mohammed Abdul Rizwan. What is your genetic predisposition? How can you use it to develop your entrepreneurial journey? What is your genetic predisposition? How can you use it to develop your entrepreneurial journey? Toastmaster Mohammed Abdul Rizwan.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I come from a business family. I mean, my father have a small business, so I do have some qualities regarding this business. So what was your question? Can you just come in?
Let me just say it again. What is your genetic predisposition? How can you use it to develop your entrepreneurial journey? Thank you.
Yeah, if I wanted to take it from my genetic, like in my family, we have done lots of businesses. Okay, so the businesses we failed, the businesses we succeeded. So from that sort of experience, I can take some learning out of those businesses, and I can utilize those in my near future to become a good entrepreneur.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Abdul Rizwan. The next person, Joy Hands. Will you please take this statement or this question? Joy Hands. Turn your passion into income. What is your passion? Turn your passion into income. What is your passion? Joy Hands.
Hi, everybody. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, whichever part of the world you are in. My passion was always teaching. And since I was 10 years old, I have been taking tuitions. And by the age of 10, I was already making around $2,000. And everybody was like, how? But you know, life hits us. I joined a corporate and I worked there and I slogged. And soon I discovered that this is not the place where I need to be. I spoke to my wife. She was in. My parents didn't agree for me to get out of my job because I was earning handsomely there. But one fine day, I just quit in the year 2008. And from there on, I said, I'm going to pursue what I love best. And it has not been a joyride, as my name says. It has been tough. It took me almost 5 to 6 years to build my career. There have been months where I have not earned a rupee, and my wife has been kind enough to support me. But today I stand in a good place. What I used to earn in a month, maybe I earn in a single day today. And that's what happens when you pursue your dream and are resilient and don't give up. And by the way, it was in my genetic because both my parents were teachers. and my grandparents were pastors. I'm a pastor and a teacher both, so it was my genetic disposition. So that's the reason I'm here where I am. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Johan. The next question I'm going to volunteer. Suresh, are you there? Suresh, what inspires you and why? Suresh, what inspires you and why?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Teaching is inspires me a lot. So when I was completed my during my childhood or in the academics, okay, or in studying in the during the college. So the most important crucial factor in anyone person's life, okay. So as a student, so teacher will be the role model, and he will be playing a major role in order to understand the things, either in a professionally or personally, or the things which you will be getting it from the teacher, okay. So always it will be registered in your mind. So so my passion is to become a teacher. If I am not in the software industry, so I would like to, whenever if I get some time, okay, definitely I will be back to the teaching profession. So yeah, that's it. Over to you, TMoD.
Thank you so much. I have two more opportunities, and I'm going to volunteer Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman, the challenge starts now. Abdul Rahman, the challenge starts now. Abdul Rahman, are you there? The challenge starts now. Abdul Rahman, are you there?
You can try it with others, Rohan and.
Okay, Rohan, can you please take this? The challenge starts now. I know he started the spit. Rohan, please go ahead. The challenge starts.
It is interesting that the question is sort of my speech, but I guess we'll start with a new challenge. Let's not use my speech I did earlier today, because then that'll be cheating. But fellow Toastmasters, one thing I like about challenges is it actually helps you build character. Being in Toastmasters, it was easy to just go through the motions. You could actually just be in Toastmasters, just sit there and not be in a role, because it's easy. And then if it's easy, you'll just stay comfortable. And when you just stay comfortable, you don't feel like improving. And that is sort of what I did. And although I actually took on many roles during my first few months of Toastmasters, it was only around 6 to 8 months later that I actually started an icebreaker. And in there, I remember just flopping quite badly. I did perform, did get to the time limit, but a lot of ums and ahs and just general nervousness. And then it took me 7 months, and then after that, another 7 months before I started my second speech. But when I started my second speech, I decided, no, I'm not going to just stay here and just go through the motions. There's an opportunity for me to speak, and I'm good to take that. And with that, it actually started a cascade. It started a domino effect where every meeting, I would try and every meeting, no matter whether it's a club or any guest meeting, I would, if there's an opportunities for me to speak, I would take that. And that is how I took the challenge and kept on developing myself, further refining my speech craft. Even if I took some losses, doesn't matter. Good. I just try again and just keep on going. And that is how I managed to finish my presentation mastery pathway in 5 months by just taking the challenge to actually go forward. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rohan. The last person goes to Dr. Mary Thomas. Entrepreneurs never lose an opportunity to grow. This was said by Manoj. Entrepreneurs never lose an opportunity to grow. Dr. Mary Thomas, thank you.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Definitely, entrepreneurs will never let go of an opportunity to grow and go. We are always finding ways to not only grow the business, we are also looking for opportunities to grow as individuals. Because if we don't grow as a person, we grow in our creativity, we grow in emotional strength, mental strength, we are not going to withstand the obstacles and turmoil that can come in a business enterprise. Let's take COVID as an example. Only the strong ones survived. The rest of them took the opportunity to fold up their businesses. Now, if they were constantly growing and going, they would have been able to withstand that unprecedented event that took place in the world. Definitely, we need to grow because, I'll repeat that, we definitely need to grow as individuals and go along in alignment with the business. Because if we don't, then we get stuck and the business can get stuck as well. Even if we don't want to improve ourselves, we'll have to follow the tide and move along and build ourselves up. Again, I use COVID as an example. Those who actually survived in their businesses, they definitely had to come up with some creativity. They have to come up with new ideas. They had to change the whole, whatever. If it was retail, all retail stores were shut down. So they have to come up with something. And that's a form of growth as well, personal growth. I would think that's how it works. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters and guests who have responded. Your responses have inspired us. Back to you, Toastmaster Manoj.
Thank you, Table Topic Master Catherine, for asking such an inspiring and thought-provoking things to our team today. And yeah, before we go to the next part, what is the other aspect where an entrepreneur takes an inspiration from? It's the feedback. A person who never takes a feedback in a negative manner is an entrepreneur. In every feedback which an entrepreneur gets, be it a positive, negative, or neutral, entrepreneur sees a point how he or she should be improved and how his or her business should be improved. And they never say something against the feedback given to them. And so here we are in our next session, in the next part of the session, where we are into the evaluations of our speeches and the elevator pitch. So let me introduce our first evaluator, Joy Behance, our District Director, DTM Joy Behance, to evaluate the speech of Mary Thomas. Timer, please make the time. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and good evening, Mary, especially. What a beautiful opening. The way you started, it was amazing. You started with a wonderful question that most people think that leaving a 9-to-5 job and being an entrepreneur is a joke. But then you told your own story that I sometimes feel like getting back into 9-to-5 to get my work-life balance back. And that was beautiful. It got me into thinking and give me a little stress. If I was a guest, should I really continue being an entrepreneur, dreaming to be an entrepreneur, or shall I just quit and do my job? From there, you got into the real story, and you started with a beautiful question once again, which was your speech title as well, where you said, do you want to be an entrepreneur? You beautifully split it into three beautiful examples. The first one was something that you can do, which you later told that it's genetic. This was loaded with a beautiful story from your side. First, you gave us the example of your grandpa, then your mom, then your three siblings, and you used a beautiful word over there, which was nature and nurture. I really liked it. You moved to the second example after that, that was ability to be resilient. Here, you said that 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs fail. Here, we don't need just resilience in character, but also resilience in money, which was like an eye-opener for me. And I really like this particular point. Again, if I don't have money and I'm trying to be an entrepreneur, I would get a nightmare over here. The third one was willing to work hard, which is again another good example where you took us a little off track, because I personally felt you stress a little bit extra on the word entrepreneur rather than focusing on the point of working hard. You just got carried away. So here, if you would have actually focused on the third point rather than on the word entrepreneur, it would have been much better. But I really liked the word that you said, busyness. That is business. I had never thought of it that way. That was a wonderful example. As in, your main objective was to connect with the audience. Did you connect with the audience? Yes. You have a lovely voice, a very calm and composed voice, which is very reassuring. The second is you asked us wonderful questions, mostly in the beginning. I would have loved some questions towards the end as well. And then you shared three wonderful points: genetics, resilience, and willingness. Overall, it was an amazing speech. Did you connect to the audience? Yes, with your voice and with your storytelling. Those are your superpowers. Did you leave me with a message? Yes, definitely. Did you leave me with a little inspiration? Well, 50-50. I was inspired, but you scared me a little that should I really get into being an entrepreneur? And that was wonderful, because you left me thinking, and I'll not just jump into doing business, but I'll first use my head. Thank you for that. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Joy, for that beautiful and wonderful evaluation for Mary Thomas. Yeah, so let's go into our next evaluation. So Abdul Rahman, so please give your evaluation for our speaker, Rohan.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Toastmasters' educational path starts with an icebreaker speech. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Rohan, for an inspirational start for your second season or your second path in your journey to becoming distinguished Toastmaster. All the very best to you. First, I would like to start, Toastmaster Rohan, that you engaged me personally, and I believe all the audience, right from the start by stating that you took the opportunity to deliver your speech when you saw the opportunity on the WhatsApp group, and you grabbed the opportunity by its horns. You also correlated your Toastmasters journey with a TV show, where you said the first half was very bland, where you took a few small roles, and your second half became exciting when you became the VPE of your club and you delivered all your projects in the first path within a span of 5 months. That was amazing, and it was truly inspiring for me. The second thing which I liked in your speech was stories. Stories become interesting when you share your personal experiences. You shared your personal experience of your club, where you had so many attendees in the meetings during the pandemic. And then how the audiences started dwindling when things started to get back to normal post-pandemic. At this time, you referred watching the video good, and this was really, really inspirational. And how you took up the challenge to revive your club. The third thing, Toastmaster Rohan, all through the speech, you're very composed, relaxed, smiling, and confident. This is a sign of a very good speaker. Keep it up. Toastmasters Rohan, while I enjoyed your interesting speech, I would like to make 2 recommendations which I believe could take your speech to the next level. In my opinion, it would have been beneficial to the audience if you could have provided some more details about yourself, where the audience will get to know you better, and this would have been in line with the purpose of this icebreaker project. We got to know some details about your Toastmasters journey, but we didn't know much about your own personal self. Second thing, I believe this was an inspirational speech with the speech title, The Challenge Starts Now. I believe you could have added some emotions and some body language in this inspirational speech. All in all, Toastmaster Rohan, your speech was really engrossing and made me want to listen more from you. You chose a good subject and a good speech title and did really good justice to that. And it had a lot of elements of a fantastic speech. You could add some emotions, some body language in your speech to make it more effective. Thank you, and back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Abdul Rahman, for that beautiful evaluation you have given to Rohan, and I'm pretty much sure. Sorry, I'm pretty much sure Rohan got valuable inputs from that, which he would use in his further speeches when and where required. So let us go to our next evaluation, the evaluation of the elevator pitch. The pitch is given by DTM Raghu, and the evaluators of the pitch are, we have just a second, we have DTM Kalpana
and Mary Thomas.
Toastmaster Mary Thomas. Yeah. So DTM Kalpana, would you start it?
Yes, thank you.
Want me to time it?
I'm doing it. Thank you. No problem.
Okay.
Wow. Invest in history. What a beautiful pitch you have given, distinguished Toastmaster Raghu. It was really nice, and definitely it inspired me to think of investing. I could see that you have a beautiful collection of your coins, and the pictures depicted that, and you have inspired us enough to ensure that we are thinking about investing in coins. However, as an investor, I was looking out for more information, like what will be the minimum amount I will have to invest in your numismatics or my numismatics, wherein I'll be able to get benefit. Yes, you have certainly mentioned about the period of time, but it would be more easy for non-numismatic people to understand how they can start and how they can invest and how they can get returns and what will be the time. And apart from that, I personally feel that this numismatics is something where it deals with a lot of knowledge. And yes, you were able to pitch saying that you are going to help us with investment and the ideology, but however, it would be more easy for us to understand if you are going to charge for your idea and investments. That will help us to further think how much investment I have to make and how much as the additional cost I will have to deal with taking your personal feedback. All in all, very well presented speech with good values, little more information about how much and time of returns would be easy for all the investors to help us. All the best for your upcoming speeches. Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, DTM Kalpana, on that exact points, like what an individual would see, because this is coming from individual investment. what an individual would see. And let us see that next evaluator giving her evaluation. Toastmaster Mary Thomas, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, and also to my investment advisor, DTM Raghu. Mr. Investor, or no, Mr. Investment Advisor, I like your topic, your title. You said invest in history. It was very, very appropriate. So immediately I was interested to know what you were coming up with, even though you had a first slide of coins over there. I was interested. For a moment, I actually thought you were doing something else, like Egyptian artifacts or something like that, but never mind. I figured out it's later on, it's coins. My main criteria here in listening to your pitch is that I'm an investor. I'm going to put down money. I want to know my ROI. What is my returns on investment? No matter all the fancy and all the interesting information there, the bottom line is, if I'm going to put down 100K, I want to make sure I get back 500K, or at least 200K or 150K. I must have a percentage of the ROI. And that is what all investors are looking for. Therefore, I think that was the part that I got like, I was like waiting, when is this coming? Let me know how much am I going to make? How much am I going to make? I'm in business. So, and as rightfully evaluator Kalpana mentioned, how much do I have to put down? That's also important. How much are you going to charge for your services? I would have liked to know that. It's interesting that, you know, it's part of your passion and it's part of your interest. Therefore, I would think that you would, you see, like investment advisors, they always make it a point to guide you through the whole process. So I would think that you would do that. But again, I was interested in the ROI. That would be my first thing. Back to you, investment advisor.
Thank you, both of you, for your wonderful feedback. When it comes to coins and numismatic, it is my passion. And when it is passion, I just lose everything. I wasn't having the enough time to give other details, so I have to rush when I saw the red card. Anyways, thank you for such a wonderful feedback. I'm sure I'll repeat my pitch with those inputs. Toastmaster.
Yeah, thank you, Raghu, and thank you, Mary Thomas, for such a good evaluation of the pitch which is given. And yes, a pitch which comes out of a hobby is completely different from a pitch which is given for establishing business. And you asking the ROI, that shows how entrepreneurial thoughts you have, and you hit on the right points of the entrepreneur. So thanks for that. And so I think we are almost to the end. Before we close the session, we having this topic today, entrepreneurial inspiration. I want to say we have seen multiple elements where an entrepreneur takes the inspiration from. He or she takes the inspiration from the personal team, the opportunities which they see, the failures which they face, the problems which they see around. And added to this, there are few more things. The changes which they see in and around, they might be good or bad, but an entrepreneur sees an opportunity in the change. And he grabs the inspiration from those changes. An entrepreneur definitely sets a goal. It might be a monetary goal or a goal to reach a certain stature in his business or whatever it is. And that goal actually ignites the inspiration for an entrepreneur. And come what may, he will be able to do if he is inspired. So from the feedback, from the team, from the failures, from the opportunities, role models, who have the goals, the problems, the changes, everything. An entrepreneur takes an inspiration from everything. So entrepreneur is the one who takes the inspiration from each and every aspect of his life, of his business, and tries to see what is the monetary gain he can get, or what is the way in which he can use that aspect to imbibe in his business so that he can grow as an entrepreneur and his business, his or her business, can grow in the market. So with this said, I want to conclude today's meeting, and I'm open for the
Manoj reports.
oh, I'm really sorry. Uh, I'm jumping the gun here. I'm really sorry. My bad. Yeah, timer report. Sorry. DTM Kalpana.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Today, as time pilot, I could say that everybody were within time. Only 2 people jumped out of the signal and landed into a next stop. And let me read out the timing for each of the speaker. Toastmaster Mary Thomas took 7 minutes 30 seconds. She was just on time. Rohan took 5 minutes 13 seconds. Distinguished Toastmaster Raghu pitched for 30 extra seconds. I think he likes to see me in red. Toastmaster Rizwan, you were 1 minute 10 seconds in your table topics. Distinguished Toastmaster Joy, you took 1 minute 23 seconds for your table topics. Toastmaster Suresh took 1 minute 15 seconds. Toastmaster Rohan, again as a table topic speaker, took 2 minutes 19 seconds. Toastmaster Mary took 2 minutes 11 seconds. And in the evaluation section, Distinguished Toastmaster Joy took 3 minutes 1 second, and Toastmaster Rahman took 4 minutes 8 seconds. I can see someone who again likes to see me in red. And in the pitch evaluation, myself, Toastmaster Kalpana took 2 minutes, and Toastmaster Mary Thomas took 2 minutes 20 seconds. I hope next time, whenever you are seeing amber card raised, try to wind up and try to be in time so that the meeting runs on time. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Kalpana, for the detailed report of the timer. And now we have our accountant, Suresh. Could you please give your report?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Manoj. I'm back with my accountant report. Firstly, I want to congratulate all the speakers for the wonderful and inspiring speeches. Here is my report. TMoD Manoj, you used so many times, and so one time. Table topic speaker 1, Mary Thomas. I'm just giving a report for both table topic speaker 1 and evaluator. You used 2 times. And speaker 2, Rohan Matthew, you used 1 time in the table topic speech. And evaluator TM Abdul, Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, no us, kudos to you. DTM Raghu, no us, kudos to you. Timer and evaluator TM Kalpana, you used 2 times. And table topic master Catherine, no us, no filler words, kudos to you. And table topic speaker 1, Muhammad Rizwan, you used 4 times, so 1 time, and okay 1 time. And evaluator and as well as the table topic speaker Jai Hans, you used 1 time. And as a table topic speaker 3, Suresh, myself, I used 3 times. Yeah, what to you? And kudos to everyone. It was you guys really made my job very easy. Yeah, thank you. What to you, TMoD?
Thank you, Suresh. And the beauty of today's session, I've seen timer Kalpana, when she's giving her evaluation, she was able to time herself. And our accountant Suresh, when he's speaking, he was able to count his own hours. So this is something very, very nice to see people improving themselves and also taking up the roles. Good to see. Good to know. So I think, Raghu, we can conclude the meeting now, and we can take the feedback from everyone.
Sure. Thanks. I would go for roll call for the next week, and let me stop recording first of all.
Yeah, please.
Adjourning the meeting.